Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
Yes. That's the age bracket.
Granted.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
What explains the change in wardrobe? Did you pick your money?
I have changed the tour of duty, and it is now a requirement, mandatory. You don't want to go to the vicinity of Parliament and you are in a kitengi, which Ssemujju calls the curtain material.
Why were you casual in the first place?
I just liked being free.
Fonopono is a Pan-Africanist.
Just like being free. I'm trying to find my way. What dress code I will have. Probably I will go the Chinese suit way.
You can't sustain this, can you?
No, I don't think I will.
It's too much for you. Honorable Ssemujju,
and I also don't want somebody to hold me by the necktie.
Aren't you so surprised that looks this?
He looks cool. He looks cool. But I am here.
Well, good to see you. And Honorable Caps Fungaro, Member of Parliament for Obongi County, a returnee. Good to see you. And yes, we have Honorable Eddie Kwizera from the bottom of the country, Member of Parliament, Bukimbiri County.
Thank you.
Glad to have you all. And there is, of course, a trending story about Musanyifu, the PS Minister of Internal Affairs, and another senior official being sent on forced leave. The president raised a red flag over issues of corruption in the maintenance of CCTV cameras. That's a story that we're making a big follow-up on. We'll keep tabs on. But switching to the big story, to the big conversation about the cabinet reshuffle, the new cabinet. Honorable Kwizera, what's your take on the new picks?
Thank you.
Yes, summarized.
The president released the new list. When I analyze what is there, is that I look at some kind of transition by the fact that he has brought in new people who are supposed to be learning from the old ones who are like for Fonoponda and the Professor Kamuntu. That by the time those ones also go, maybe they have learned something. It is my hope that this time the new cabinet will meet public expectations, because originally the way they have been choosing cabinet, some of these people were in the office either by lobbying, not performance. Others would be there by accident or by crisis. Others are there for their historical background or politics, but not performance or effectiveness. So
do you see a bit of merit in this cabinet?
Yeah, this cabinet now, if we want to deliver service, we should look at more of delivery of service and effectiveness than politics. Because this is, I think, one of the few countries where I find that people are given offices, but they are not given performance targets. So a minister is appointed, he's given an instrument of appointment, and the minister doesn't know what he's supposed to do or to achieve in a given year. So this is a time where the president is giving an instrument of appointment, then it is accompanied by a performance target instrument, so that at every given year, you can evaluate the ministers. But now if you ask the government and say, you have returned this minister, you have removed this one, what is the measure? You must have a standard, you must have a measure. So maybe you can say these ones have served for a long time, but they must be a measure. So this time the cabinet must have a measure, a standard that can be evaluated at the end of the term. That's what I think.
Thank you. Honorable Caps, what were the surprises and shockers in the president's cabinet?
First of all, thank you for this opportunity. I speak here as a member of parliament representing, not only as a member of parliament representing Obongi constituency, but also as the chairman of the National Parliamentary Caucus in the 12th Parliament. This has got a bearing in my perspective and the narrative that I'm going to give in this debate on this matter of the cabinet appointment. First, where I moved the Honorable Dr. Chris Baryamusi from ICT to health. Baryamusi is a medical doctor, and he's also a practicing politician. A minister is supposed to be a politician, yes, because you do political work. But competence of an individual person has got 3 elements, components. One, you should have the basic knowledge of the subject matter, but you should also have the right attitude to do the job. Then you should have the skills. Knowledge, attitude, and skills are the things which combine together to make what we call competence of an individual in any field. Now, if you appoint somebody who has the basic knowledge about that field, in that particular field, like in the case of Baryamusi, is a medical doctor, he has the basic knowledge.
Deputized by Ayume.
Yeah, that's a good one there. But there are certain cases where the appointments go offside. It doesn't balance up in terms of the roles and responsibilities. Number 2, there's also a problem in the area of how people who are appointed serve the people they are supposed to serve. Because cabinet is now viewed as a way of rewarding people for loyalty rather than for service. That's why when it comes to question of sharing the national cake, people region by region will feel that where is the minister on our side, where is the minister on our side. Ministers indeed who are appointed do not have a national outlook at it. I'm a minister of a government of a republic called Uganda. I'm supposed to serve people equally, beginning from Kisoro to Kitigum.
But before I even get to OO, I heard West Nile complaining that they have been denied big slots. They haven't eaten big in cabinet.
Actually, that's where the problem comes in here. The people of West Nile have consecutively, maybe 2, 3, 4 times, never seen a full cabinet minister. They have ministers of state. In this particular
Moses
case,
Ali, there was
Moses
Moses
Ali was not a cabinet minister. He was in the rank of prime minister. In the executive, there are people. The presidency is different. Vice president is not a minister, not a prime minister. That's another rank. Then the prime minister has prime minister, deputy, 1, 2, 3. Moses Ali was in that category. When you talk about ministers, you begin from the those who fall below the prime minister and head ministries. A minister, cabinet minister, is different from a minister of state. West Nile has never been given a single cabinet minister. This time, we have 6 ministers of state. The powers of a minister of state are not equal to the one of a full cabinet minister. To make things worse, West Nile people from the side of voting, actually they are not happy. The more unhappiness is in the heart of the people who are NRM or who voted for President Museveni. They say now, in the past, when we were deemed to be a little bit more of opposition, when we voted for Dr. Paul Kawanga Semgerere in the election of 1991, at least there you could see a minister. And then when we voted for Dr. Besigye, later on there, gradually the voting pattern shifted to be like more of SWAT, NRM. But the more the region became NRM, the less it became attractive for a minister to be appointed from there. So where is the reward? Is this a reward or is it a punishment? That's the debate which is going on in the minds of the people.
So you belong to that chorus that believes that every region should be rewarded.
You see,
equitably.
If it is about equity, in the distribution of national resources and opportunities, West Nile deserves. Because West Nile, first of all, is a strategic region. It has a large population of close to 4 million people. It has a large population of refugees which are hosted in Uganda here. At least the Ministry for Refugee Affairs could have been headed by people from their side. And then West Nile has to make things worse, no single person appointed as a permanent secretary in any ministry. Yet you have so many people with good brains. You go to these universities and colleges, West Nile has professors, people with PhDs. So you miss out in the political appointment, you miss out in the civil service. So where is the fairness here? So for me, in this, I conclude as chairman of the West Nile Parliamentary Caucus, that West Nile has been given a raw deal. This cabinet is not fair at all.
Thank you. Your take on the new cabinet and the kind of storm it's generating.
I haven't had a conversation with many people about the cabinet, but I don't think many people expected the president to make a significant shift. Why? Because what has driven his politics since '86 still obtains. Attempt to accomplish inclusion, sense of belonging, to achieve minimum political acceptance and consensus. And he does explain this himself, that you have seen him say he has brought somebody to cabinet because his father or her father gave him sugar in the difficult days. You remember the case of Chief Gabriel when it was first brought? You have had the case of Byamukama, the now Minister for Works. So, yes. So, you remember Galabuzi, the former Minister for Luwero, a similar thing. So personally, I didn't expect, and I don't expect the president to move very far away from that position. He will try to bring as many people because he has found a way of doing his work, even when he has appointed, for lack of a better word, probably an incompetent or even a hopeless one. Look at when Buganda didn't vote us last time, 2021. The president brought up about 15 ministers from Buganda and gave them real heavy ministries. Nankabra was in energy, Ruth Nankabra. Nabakawa was in lands. KK, technical person, in my view. Attorney General. Katumba Wamana,
Works.
Sempija, originally in defense, and so on and so forth. Murui Mukasa in public service. Consequent upon that, partly upon that, Buganda behaved this time. I don't know if you noticed that NRM, President Museveni got votes in Buganda. We reduced the opposition, FDC, NOP, and DP. We got more. NRM now has more MPs, I think more district leaders than any other party in Buganda. So, in that sense, he achieved the politics of recovery, but also acceptance in Buganda. And I believe that he wants to use that to build a new consensus.
So this is more about rewarding loyalty over competence.
No,
right?
Buganda was not loyal then, but he gave them. Now, I would want to point out a particular one in Buganda. Since these ministers were appointed for lands, the one who was appointed for lands, he has been brought back. Don't you get the sense that he's just a minister of lands in Buganda? Tell me which other part of the country that minister has gone to. Problems of land only in Buganda or elsewhere. Tell me where else that minister has gone. Either Mayanja, who has now been made Attorney General. Have you seen Mayanja anywhere else? Except here? Have you seen Nabakova much elsewhere? Trying to even find out what are the issues of land in other parts of the country. So, in that sense, in my view, these are my friends, and I would tell them even when they are here. a minister like that, I don't expect them to breathe new fresh air in the system. Two, the competence. Once I told you this story some time back, I think in 98, I told the president in his face, I said, Mr. President, why are you putting square pegs in round holes? Why are you putting square pegs in round holes? And I think that system has gone, and partly that's precisely why we have inertia in the system. I have said on this show before that even as an observer of Parliament, the last Parliament, the other one, the last three parliaments, I think, when you watch the debate, I think just the week the Ssemujjus were ending this last Parliament. I remember that Honorable Kaduchu brought a document from Minister of Education. Kaduchu was the Minister of Primary Education. She brought a document, and Parliament chased her with the document. Honorable Chrysostom Muyingo returned.
But he had changed the dates.
He only changed the civil servants there only changed the date for him.
Oh, really?
Yes, but he presented, and again, Parliament raised concern. So in that circumstance, it is hard to believe that comprehensively there will be ministers who will deliver. I think a few of them, majority will not. And what Fungaro said, we rejected this position as NRM. I think this was the 6th Parliament, the Parliament where Mugisha Muntu was with the late Napito.
7.
7th, when they brought a proposed bill to amend the Constitution that ministers should get out of Parliament. Yes, they can be ex-officials, but we elected members of Parliament now. If you elected a member of Parliament, you should not. You resign. And I think that would create a sense of working for the nation. Go and check ministry by ministry, particularly ministries that do actual service delivery, the things that touch on the common person, health, agriculture. You will notice that they tend to pump resources, and because we have a lackluster civil service, they will go by what the minister is saying. If the minister wants coffee seedlings in their area, they want a chemical for tick in their area, that's why the civil servants will pay more attention. And so I think we have reached that stage. And also, the vetting is now a issue, in my view, because the vetting should be, committee that vets should be able to throw out ministers who served in the previous regime and they can't show what they accomplished. Some of these ministers have served for 10 years, some 20.
How about the highlight of ministers with a checkered past, ministers who were in the past cabinet and they were implicated?
I'm saying that's why the vetting is now nominal. The nominal exercise is a ritual. It doesn't serve the purpose for which, in my view, the framers of the Constitution intended. So, today, the Right Honorable Speaker read the names. I invite you tomorrow to check one by one, especially the ones from the NRM side. And you will tell me how many of them in these next 2 days have the competence, have the skill to vet anybody. I was in the House. I listened to the names. Anybody, let alone ministers. And I can bet all those nominated will be approved in a second.
So, in a nutshell, as I get to Honorable Ssemujju,
So
this is not a cabinet that's breathing fresh energy.
some of them will, majority will not. Let me give you I've just mentioned in Nganda check, the people are posted in the lands. if you are not going to have quarrels only, but all of them almost. Gand check the names that there are 4, I think. Gand check. So maybe they will perform if Parliament now raises to the occasion, particularly the NRM group in Parliament, because it will be easier to dismiss opposition criticism. And so I think the NRM MPs have their work cut out. Actually, if we want a rupture with the past and a shift towards a real performance, so that NRM MPs become the ones to actually hold the executive, the ministers, to strict scrutiny. Otherwise, if we don't, it will be businesses. The only problem I see with quite a number of NRM people, they may want to go at ministers because they are sulking, because they themselves want to be. But if they are disciplined, ideologically disciplined by practice, I think they should be the one. It has slipped through my mind. Maybe Ssemujju can go back. I will come back to it.
Okay.
So,
fine. Thank you. Honorable Ssemujju, where do you start in unpacking this cabinet? I know you're either surprised or excited that your friend Nabanja bounced back.
In 2005, General Salim Saleh said he wanted to be a minister. Then Afanga Sifuseko minister. He was drafted.
No, actually, Honorable Sir, just a minute. Yes. If you see that cabinet, 5 of them, 5 people, and I say this on this show, are people who were running for speaker and deputy speaker. I think when they went to SEC, I think at the back of the president, they said, persuaded them to pull out. Now, if somebody was running for speaker, deputy speaker, and now, does she or he actually
so it was a bait?
Want to do the job of a minister, to do service to deliver to the people, or is there now for something else? And I said it on this show. At the time those people were declaring it was for the speaker, I said they were negotiating because they had seen the example of 2021. Go and check in the outgoing cabinet, they again was about 5 or 6. The people who were so ballistic behind the Right Honorable Kadaga, quite a number of them were. I don't think it is a good way to choose a cabinet.
Well, Ssemujju, it's your turn.
So General Saleh said then Afanga Sifuseko minister. General Saleh. So in the after election 2006, he was made the minister for microfinance. Actually, I interviewed him before he ran away. I had thought in my mind that he would be the last member of President Museveni's family to be in the cabinet, or Kalama to be in the cabinet. With when we had capital gang with the president, I asked him, why did you make your wife a minister? How do you supervise your own wife? And he gave a very long story. The wife is back in the cabinet. General Saleh's daughter is there. Muhozi's Moram Shatse Kutesa is there.
Foreign affairs?
No, she's in finance. I think microfinance.
Yes, state finance. Yes, micro.
That's a Moram for General Muhozi. Their babysitter, who was taking care of them when Museveni was in exile, Kaboyo, is there. The other relatives are there. Tumukundi, the other day, his son married one of Museveni's daughters. Is there. Jim Moore is part of the family, Ramiram and others. It's very difficult to supervise.
Aren't you bastardizing?
I am not the one who appointed the cabinet.
Why would you look at it from relative, the side, the blood?
No, because General Saleh, I gave you that background and thought it would be sufficient.
Okay.
Since then, Afanga Sifuseko minister. And in the following cabinet, they put him there. I think now he realized that there was nothing in being a minister. Now he has sent a daughter. Saleh's daughter, Muhozi's Moram, their babysitter, their mother. Now imagine a father chairing a cabinet with all these family members there. And they are not the only, these are the immediate ones. So there are others, I've told you, Tumukunde, Muhwezi, Ramirama, etc. The president is very casual when he's choosing a cabinet. That's how he ends up appointing my sister and friend, the Honorable Kasule Lumumba, a chief whip. Yet, the Administration of Parliament Act says parties will elect from amongst their members. The Honorable Kasule Lumumba, if she is vetted, she is ex officio. The first activity in Parliament is to designate members. And if you're ex officio, you will need to be vetted, and then you will need to take an oath for you to access Parliament. Now Museveni appointed someone who cannot access Parliament to go and do Parliament work on day one. You remember when he appointed the Honorable Chinobe as ambassador in Russia? He had just appointed an ambassador within it, so he was reminded, hey, but you sent there someone, hey, okay, sorry. So Chinobe stayed there for a very long time. And he was quarreling with Nganda, who told him that, sir, you've grown old. He was quarreling. He doesn't want to be reminded that he's grown old. But President who has been around for a very long time with advisors.
But the anomaly was corrected.
Yeah, but you see, how could it even have happened? How? That the president with all the advisors, he has 100 of them, he has assistants in their hundreds. He can issue a list and assign someone to go and assign other NRM leaders' duties when that person cannot access Parliament. Because until cabinet has been vetted and ex-officials are now invited one by one take an oath. They can't access Parliament. But she is the one Museveni had assigned to go and designate, because today the first activity was designation. So for me, that's the president is very casual, and I'll come back to that. Let me just generally look at cabinet. One other thing I see in this cabinet is that there is a severance of relationship between the Obote family and Museveni. Museveni has dropped the representative of the Obote family, the Honorable Betty Amongi, and there is no UPC as brought.
But Jimmy was protesting that UPC had never been
in the last
consulted.
election, she stood as independent. She's actually, she's not in Parliament as UPC. I have seen her quarreling, but I've also seen others make a mistake. The Honorable Santa Alum was the chief whip, was the whip of UPC, but UPC did not give her a card, so she came as independent. She's former UPC by the structure of the law. So the sole representative of the Obote family has been removed. It also speaks about the politics in Orango. That I note. I am happy with some appointments. Adonia Yebare, I think he's experienced. He's been in the UN for a very long time, and he tries to fix many broken relationships. I think he may even have participated in the one of Rwanda, if I'm not mistaken. But I also take issues with, because Muhoozi said at his birthday party, which he never attended himself, that when he was quarreling that some former army commanders and CDFs had not attended. Said, when this general invites you, now David Muhoozi, I have been in Parliament. I think the best performing ministers, David Muhoozi was one of them. So was Musasizi, Ruth Acheng, and others. But David Muhoozi is dropped. One of the best performing ministers, former CDF. After the son said he did not attend his birthday party. J.J. Odongo has also left. He's also a former army commander.
He didn't attend.
He didn't attend. He said the only person who attended was Katumba Wamala. And Katumba Wamala is maintained. So the ones who didn't attend were warned by Muhoozi that something will happen, and it has happened. So so there are.
Barrio Munsi bounced back.
Barrio Munsi did.
MK was vowing that he will never be on cabinet.
Maybe that's the reason he's back. But also, Baryomusa has been very active as a minister of information. He's a medical doctor, but he's been very active. You meet him even on community radios, these ones. Chizindaro. He's been very active as a minister for really. So maybe on account of his own energy and the time he has put in, but also because the son was vowing that him and Otafire will not come back. I look at people who have left, like General Moses Ali. General Moses Ali is 86, 87, I think 88 now. Old, but also unwell. I think it was good to allow him to go. I don't know why he was replaced by his son. I don't know the competence of the son. But that's politics. Matia Kasaija, he had abandoned the work of that ministry to Musasis. It is only fair that you allow Musasis to be the minister because he was the minister after all. Like David Mohoz he was the minister for internal affairs, at least in the parliament, because Otafire never stepped there. But part of the reason, there was even a problem between Nabanja and Otafire. You appoint a supervisor who is despised by others. Because Nabanja, in one of the cabinet meetings, was quarreling that I don't know what Otafire wants from me. And Otafire said, is there anything that I may want from you? So they were in a cabinet meeting. Museveni likes it, that you get supervisors who are despised by those they are supervising. But also all the people should also learn to let go. Because if I am Crispus Chiyonga, with my experience and knowledge, I am not going to be part of a cabinet supervised by Nabanja. Professor Kamunt, you were part of Obote 1980. I mean, very knowledgeable people. And then you avail yourself to be supervised by people you should be teaching.
But when you look at the calculation of the president,
yes,
does it in a way sink into his ambition of Chisanja, no sleep?
No. O was referring to the National Development Plan 4. The National Development Plan 4 has targets, serious targets. One of them that has attracted me is that every year government wants to generate nearly 900,000 jobs. In the National Development Plan 3, they were able to generate only about 300. That's according to their figures. It may not be true, but at least they say they failed. We have done tarmac roads now, I think, to about 6,000 from a stock of about 20,000. If you go to education, we have 2 million in secondary school, we have 200,000 in tertiary, and maybe about 9 to 10 in primary school. If you read, including the National Planning Authority, they give you the challenges in the education sector. One of them that is outstanding is that because of the quality of education that we give to our children, many of them, their productivity level will not go beyond 39%. Even IMF has done a report about that. So if you choose people, because Museveni's wife is very passionate about education, but she doesn't have time, but she's also inaccessible. She runs that ministry through emissaries because she never steps there. Muyingo and Kaduchu and others who are at the ministry, they wait for ADs from Mama to come. So the ADs are the ones who sit ministers and assign them, you are foreign minister for this, you do this. And then they disappear. So there will be nothing done at the ministry because even at a parliamentary level, we spend 5 years without seeing the Minister for Education. And the Honorable Taiwa said, because of the health restrictions, because each time you are going to access the president or a member of his family, you must do a COVID test. Say the first aid cannot be here. So if someone who is inconvenienced by health consideration, restrictions, why do you assign that person a responsibility of more than 15 million people? Because we have nearly 15 million people in the education sector. And the person who is supposed to be superintending on that sector is not available. And then you do reports, your own reports, and say children who are in school will not go beyond 39% their productivity level. So whether it is works. So when you combine the cabinet, and that's how I want the public to look at it, you have assembled a team that is supposed to deliver the National Development Plan 3 in relation to Uganda Vision 2040. So this particular group, when I was interviewed by NBS, I told them, just tell me a single private company that can hire any of those people Museveni has put in the cabinet. Just tell me. You're a private company and you go looking for staff and you hire who? Maybe the Adonias. But can you hire Chiyonga? They should be at home. They shouldn't be near.
Well, as we take a break, Honorable Kwizera, is Chisoro satisfied or impressed? Did you have a share given your voting pattern?
You see, I want to inform you and Ugandans that who benefits from a good cabinet? Is it the president or it is the people who are supposed to be served? So when the president is appointing ministers, he should be focusing on the delivery, those who want service.
Yeah, but cabinet is an embodiment of a national cake.
Yes.
Where you say,
but
we have also eaten.
But now you see the element of appointing ministers in form of reward system, not performance. This is where I agree with Honorable Fonopondo, that should we appoint ministers because we are rewarding them, all ministers must perform on a mandate of a minister to deliver service. That's very important. Secondly, the process of approval to vet. People should not be ambushed to vet. Actually, they should even call for a public hearing, because members of parliament who are newly elected, they are members of parliament, they are new. You are going to supply 82 members of the cabinet to them and to vet them from the room without even asking anybody. So I know they might bring their CVs, but who will check the correctness of the CVs if you don't allow the members of the vetting committee under our Article 9 of the Constitution? I think, if I can be corrected by Honorable Ssemujju, that Parliament can have capacity to invite other people even to help the committee, such that what the output is acceptable, not by only the appointing authority, but also by the people who are supposed to be served. So, but the issue of appointing people because you are using it as a reward system, it affects service delivery and effectiveness. Another issue that we should be looking at is that who benefits, as we were saying, because now in Chisoro, if you appoint someone because he contributed to the Ruwero war, to struggles, can you relate it to performance? Because last budget, if you know,
do you have any ministers from Chisoro?
You can collect that. With us, we don't look at a minister. We look at the good policies.
No, but Chisoro was once excited when Mateke became minister.
But what I'm saying is that these are national ministers. These are national ministers. So,
died.
But last financial year, our tourism roads actually have been on the books for about 5 years, 10 years. Now, you bring a budget, you provide it to make 60 roads. Yet in the previous year, you did not even make 5. So if we don't have a performing cabinet and we don't have realistic budget, what will be the target in the coming year? So we should have targets in line with the development plan and in line with the manifesto.
Well, we'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll still be unpacking the cabinet. What's so remarkable about Museveni's picks? It's now...
There is also a problem with the educated people. The educated people who have gone so high with academics only, they never got placed into some offices of management or leadership. When they find some people who by divine providence or some circumstances placed in position of leadership, they say, how can I be led by somebody like this? When I am a professor, I have a PhD. But you have seen people who are highly educated failing in the simple leadership tasks. So we should go beyond education as a level of education as a measure of competence. Competence, as I said earlier on, is not only based on education alone. There are other factors which must come into the measurement of the ability of somebody to perform.
Who are you making a case for?
I'm making a case for the Right Honorable Prime Minister Nabanja. Now,
I think she's even pursuing a PhD.
She's even pursuing a PhD. But why is it that people
Why is she undermined?
have this thing of undermining her? Why? But I've seen other people also who tried to undermine others. But when they were given this role to lead, they failed to lead. Now, with due respect, let me give you the best example of somebody who is said not to have read very highly, but has been able to lead properly. You read the profile of His Excellency Paul Kagame of Rwanda. And Museveni even. When President Museveni became a leader, was he a PhD holder? He led a rebel movement successfully through difficulties, but until he reached and put what we see today, even if we criticize him. Kagame the same. They never had time to go to school because they got engaged into rebellion very early in their lives. So for me, I would like to appeal to those.
So what would be your yardstick?
My yardstick is
for a competent minister.
What are the tasks assigned to that person? Is that person able to perform them? You measure performance on the basis of the milestones provided. For the sake of a rebel leader, like Kagame at that time, your role is to lead your troops. The troops should be able to perform the task of fighting. You lose few or lose none. Soldiers will not die, and you capture territory after territory.
So when you look at this cabinet,
this thing of,
can it deliver on Chisanja and not sleep?
Let me tell you this about myself. I think by the grace of God, I went to school. By the grace of God, I am born as a person who also understands things. But I respect people who are not educated like myself. I went to good schools. After Bongi Primary School, I went to St. Joseph's College in Bachi, a highly respected school. I went to St. Mary's College, Kisubi, a highly respected school. Like this, I hold a master's degree in public administration and management from Makerere University. But I've seen people who never went to school like myself. There was a man in our place called Chief Selimani Lori. He was not educated, but that man was very intelligent and a good administrator. Very many people would come to consult him, even including those who were holders of master's degrees. This man would tell them, do like this, like this. And another one also, somebody called the Dr. Dagola, Dr. quote unquote. He never went to medical school, to any school here. But Dagola was working in Moyo Hospital. For him, he was an anesthetist, administering anesthesia for operation to be done. But did you know that he emerged as one of the best surgeons, and he was at the end of the day given a certificate?
So in this case, you're arguing for low caliber persons to be appointed to key ministries.
I am arguing in favor of people who are appointed on the basis of the expected performance out of them, that you go and do this, not on the basis of papers. So don't undermine Nabanja. Nabanja is a very active person, Right Honorable Nabanja. The Prime Minister, the appointing authority must have seen something good in her. So we should ask ourselves, what was President Museveni looking for at the time when he said, I want this one? What was he looking for?
Thank you. Has President Museveni again demonstrated his unpredictability with this cabinet? You've already had PLU complaining that they were not rewarded fairly.
Well, the Constitution of Uganda gives the president 100% prerogative to appoint. Even if there is a caveat for vetting. As chief executive, he can persuade the vetting committee, he can talk to and doesn't have to explain how he has persuaded the appointment committee or the chairperson. I remember quite a number of appointments. You remember the case of Haji Naduli. I think that time it was Right Honorable Kadaga. They talked earlier, and Naduri, who many people thought the committee would throw out, was passed. Now, the onus is on, so the Constitution gives him, so he's the one who knows the real reason why he gives Ofono and doesn't give Njala. And with due respect to Fungaro, none of us here has said, questioned academic qualification of anyone. And if Ssemujju, even Ssemujju who criticized Nabanja, I don't think he said it is the academic qualification. Probably he's talking about attitude. Probably he was talking about the manner of doing things and so on and so on. And you yourself had said, give people KPI. What is it that when the president is appointing, what is it that we, the citizens, expect of a minister, expect of a public officer, probably not just a minister, could even be an RDC, where the president is making appointment. I'm sure you have seen where the president has appointed RDCs of modest education, but some of them do well.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I would expect that the ministers, even the ones of bad attitude or poor attitude, can be brought into the line by two things. What is the KPI you are given, terms of reference that you are going to deliver on? Two, effective supervision and coordination of that group. I made here a reference about just presentation of ministerial statements on the floor, or answering, responding to queries in Parliament. And sometimes you ask yourself whether that minister belongs to that ministry. You haven't seen those cases, instances, and many.
But in the case of Nabanja, I've not seen her answering irrelevant questions.
I didn't say Nabanja.
I know, but that is a reference.
In our particular case, the job of the Prime Minister is to coordinate ministries, policies of government, and delivery. So it may not be the fault of Nabanja. I don't know whether it was Ssemujju who said that in quite some cases she's given people probably who are stubborn,
who don't want to respect her.
Who don't respect. Now there I expect the higher authority
to discipline them,
to crack the whip. Yes. You have seen a number of outbursts of ministers in public, and we all know those that don't respect the Prime Minister, even when that's her mandate, to coordinate them, to supervise them, and probably even to sanction them appropriately.
Yes.
Now, if that is continuous, then the fault may not be Nabanja's. The fault lies elsewhere.
Yeah, it is the people who are supposed to respond to her.
And some of that also is with Parliament. We have had cases where, because the minister has given you handholds, you Fungaro, you say the minister is good. Because he has given you handholds, he has given your people relief food.
No, for me, where I saw her competence was this.
I'm
just giving an example.
Why are you saying I'm talking about generically.
But I want to give an example.
Why there is a...
Why of all ministers are you so obsessed with Nabanja?
I want to give you an example here.
He said they are eating today on the floor.
I said on the floor, yes, I stand by that. in life, offices are supposed to work continuously in succession, regardless of who occupies them. Now, there was a time the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Uganda was a highly respected person in the names of Right Honorable Ruhakana Rugunda. When he left, there were certain things which were left not properly documented. They were discussed verbally, not put properly in writing. I came from UNRA. I went there. I had a meeting with General Moses Ale, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, myself. The third person who was supposed to be in that meeting was Kajina, the director of UNRA then. About very crucial matters of development in West Nile in terms of roads, the road network. Nabanja was not there. So when the changes were made, what we had discussed had not been implemented. There was nothing which had taken place. I came there with the only things which were written with a hand like this. I came to write for Nabanja. I said, do you have any record of this in your office? This office has left. What was discussed has not taken place. Where do we start from here? Nabanja responded, said, don't worry, this is an office. And then she called people. So for me, I saw that she understood her work. She was able to put the record correct, and the work is going on today. You see? So for me, I saw she was someone who understood the role of her office.
Honorable Fungaroho,
yes.
You are talking of something that was written by the former Prime Minister, which you brought to attention of
the current
one.
Yes.
How do you look at the National Development Plan with provisions of other projects that were not implemented, even when they are in National Development Plan, other than those ones which were handwritten, because of influence peddling?
No,
so we are not, no, wait, we are looking at it. When you are debating, you leave out the issue of conflict. You are conflicted because there is something that is motivating you.
You received a favor.
Yes. No, wait. You are conflicted because you are now personalizing national decisions. We are looking at leaders making decisions which are informed. And all of these positions have qualifications. So nobody has challenged the right.
We are eating into your time.
No, I'm saying that we should look at leaders who are going to make informed decisions that decisions that will benefit the public, not individuals.
No, I'm not an individual.
Sorry, we were eating into almost time. No. I'll give you your time. Okay.
Well, every time there is a second chance, my belief is that the laxity with which some of us have held public offices, you had the president saying, enough is enough. I hope this enough is enough will come to the fore and will take decisive action. And that's why I said the onus is on the ENRA members of parliament, who are the majority.
What is the magic in retaining Nabanja and Alupo?
That it can only be answered by the president, but personally I suspect he was answering more to the politics. This is what well, let us take the vice president. There's a joke in our circles, and I hope she's watching, that the vice president is the vice president between the Kampala and Katakwi. So, yes.
You have heard.
You see, the public, the average member of the public, even me who's not average, I expect the vice president, the prime minister and other ministers to take initiative beyond the ordinary instruction of the president. I expect them to go and refine what the president is doing. I expect them to solve problems where the president perhaps is busy, even without being delegated. And they simply go reading the mind of the president, solve a problem, and then you take back, I have solved this. That's what I expect. That's what I expect of top members of the executive. But if you are also, you see the problems and then you first report. That's why I dare say the president is too occupied. And consequently, there are many things that are accumulated. You have heard in Parliament and in the ordinary life here, the president makes pledges. And it accumulates for 5 years. He has a minister for the presidency. He has other DCs. He has a minister for that sector. Why should those things accumulate to the point where people simply forget and abandon? Why should the president be the one accosted by smaller things? The rest of us, what are we doing?
Thank you. Honorable Ssemujju,
Yes.
it appears the general consensus or the general perception is that this is not more of competence, it's more of loyalty. Does it give you a sense that the president has further consolidated his grip on power with this new card?
I think we've moved from ministers with the capacity to engage the president, agree or disagree on the direction on issues of policy. When you had people like Dr. Ezra Suluma as Minister of Finance, they internally disagree with the president on the policy. For example, the privatization of banks. Up to today, Dr. Ezra Suluma thinks that it was a very big mistake because he thinks if you don't run your own banks, you will be rebels for life, because I read this recent missive that the Western interests will never allow you to have capital.
And actually, the president now agrees with him.
Yes.
Consequently, the many circles, Myoga, PDM, that's one way the president is agreeing with this Roma that you need
Yes.
your bank.
Yes.
You need your own.
So you moved away from people with the capacity to engage with the president and disagree on policy to nearly robots who come to parliament just carrying and trafficking what the president has said. Whether they agree with it or they disagree, as long as they are ministers with a convoy, that gives them satisfaction. So to be a minister and ministries have been diluted, that most of the work is done by the president through other people. In this parliament, where I have been, if Chiwanuka Chiriowa stood to say something, you will listen. You will know that either he has spoken to. So the confidence with which he speaks, the sophistication, the state craftsmanship that he has. And that's why I disagree with the Honorable Fungara. We are not just assessing academic qualification. We're looking at someone whose state craftsmanship. And doesn't matter how many degrees you have achieved. There are people who are professors but stupid. and we didn't refer to academic qualifications. But there are also people who, because it doesn't mean that if some professors are stupid, now you bring anyone. Because the professors, you met one who was stupid, now you go and pick Chakoseras, now they become part of your cabinet. Museveni himself was laughing at his cabinet last time. When he said, this cabinet of mine, of fishermen, they told me in the cabinet, he laughed and tears were rolling down, laughing at his own cabinet. But the reason he does so is that he does not expect this cabinet to do anything serious. It is, I remember when he appointed the late Medi Kagwa, he said, I appointed Medi Kagwa to represent me at funerals. So sometimes Museveni appoints...
As Minister for Presidency.
Yes, he said this one will be representing me at funerals. So he, in his mind, he doesn't visualize the minister as a serious thing.
So is this hula-baro about who was placed where necessary?
It's just symbolism.
I've seen a lot of uproar over Muganga, over several other...
And I think Muganga, the reason people are saying no is also Rwandese. That's what I have seen circulating. Yes. That is not a Ugandan or is a person of dual nationality. That I have seen.
Is it important?
This is how Museveni works,
No. It may be important because under our constitution, there are specific offices that are bad, where people with dual citizenship are bad. I am not sure if a Minister of State is one of them, but we can check the provision of the constitution. But I know for sure, the president, for example, Inspector General of Government, Inspector General of Police, those ones.
Including ministers.
I need to check that, but at least I know that. So, if we were to check, the guys who are in the vetting committee ought to check if that allegation has come about Professor Nganda. We can check. He's a public officer. I don't think his citizenship status is a secret. And if he himself checks the constitution and finds that he doesn't qualify, is not eligible, then the best thing would be for him to step down, decline the appointment.
Earlier, we were discussing Kasule Lumumba, that you have a president who doesn't do due diligence, that he can wake up and appoint someone who's not a member of parliament to go and become an MP. So its chances are high that he may pick someone who doesn't qualify to be a minister, like the Honorable Kasule Lumumba did not and does not qualify to be a whip. But Museveni put her on the list as a whip. So you see, it's likely that he can choose anyone. But for me, the major point here, Njara, you need to understand how Museveni works. Sometimes he appoints people with full authority and he allows them to work.
Yeah, but again,
sometimes he appoints people and he gives them no work. So it is his design. When he brought Chiwanuka Chiryowa as Attorney General, Chiwanuka Chiryowa spoke with authority as Attorney General and he would commit government. I'm not sure Mayanja. I think the reason he's taking him to defense is that I think when he looks at this group, he's the only one who can work with his son comfortably. The others, General Sari told me, I called him, I was working at Observe when he was in finance. Said the environment has become very difficult. When you are approaching people, so if you look at your shoulders, they run away. By the time they have said, I am here with nobody. I don't think Muhoozi with the power he has appropriated that you can find a minister to go and supervise him. Maybe Chiwanuka Chiryowa can try. Because the last time you had Oboth as a supervisor, he ended up inviting his junior to be a guest of honor, and he was the one saluting now. And I think that's maybe the reason even Otafire has been removed from internal affairs, because that's security sector. Security sector now, all of it, prison is run by Museveni's son. So Otafire, who was quarreling, that's why he has been exiled into water. Because I don't think the son has any interest in water, so Otafire can go in water, and here everybody abroad must be either one who will salute the son or will keep quiet when the son is running the show. So there are ministers that Museveni appoints and he gives them authority to go and do work. But there are also others he appoints, like Letimedi Kagwa, whose only duty is to represent him at funerals. And I think that's what Arupo is doing. I don't think she does any other work. Because ordinarily, a vice president in our constitution must be someone training him or herself every day to take over the presidency in case something happens. You should even be allowed to hold some power.
Yeah, but do you appreciate the magnitude of the challenge that the president faces in playing a balancing act between politics and service delivery?
No, if you have a cabinet, and I agree with the Honorable Kwezera, if you have a cabinet that will help you to deliver service, I don't think people will want to have their relatives or clansmen or people of the same religion in that cabinet, if a cabinet is delivering. We had Obote ministers, Kanyomos, Rwakasis. When those guys were visiting our schools,
those ones are not good examples.
Yes.
The good examples perhaps are the ones of the 60s. These ones were singing Nyamurunga.
No,
I was much older. I don't think those ones.
Yeah, but if an Obote minister gave you a school, that school will be constructed. These ones of Museveni cannot even offer you a pen. He'll have to first ask either Muhoozi or Sare or one of the relatives that can I offer a pen to this child. Those ones had authority upon. They came to our schools and promised things and they were done.
Yeah, but you're also looking at newcomers, the new players on the block, the Nameres, that lot. How much will it deliver?
Namera has energy, but government doesn't work that way. If you want to know how government works, you look at the budget that they have given you. If you go to local government, for example, the budget for local government in this financial and last financial year was 6 trillion. 5.4 trillion for salaries, for secondary school, primary teachers, health workers. So what remained for local government was about 600 billion, all of them in Uganda. So that's what you go to supervise. And that's why I saw newly appointed people saying now it is a PDM. What is their role if you look at the policy of PDM? Museveni said PDM should go at the parish. There is even a committee. So you have no role there apart from maybe reporting that things are not happening here. So many of the ministers, as I said, they are given the ministries, but with no responsibility, with no budget. I am happy with Sanjay Tana.
In trade.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there isn't much that is in that ministry. But Sanjay Tana and Otada were some of the best MPs. And they should have said in Parliament if Uganda was a serious country. Sanjay Tana and Otada, very, very good.
Thank you. Honorable Quiz, the outgone lot were dubbed fishermen. How would you describe this one?
Oh? You see,
it's more of the same.
I want to,
business as usual.
I want to inform the listeners and those ministers, those who are going and those who are coming in, that the biggest challenge we have in the country is where people are appointed to take positions of leadership when in themselves they know they don't qualify or they have no capacity to deliver. And they don't report back to the president and say, you have offered me this appointment, but I can't manage. So people are appointed
some do.
As if it is by accident.
The Honorable Tom Butimi was appointed minister for Karamoja.
Yes, but he's 1 in a million. So
but he didn't decline because
that thing of
honorable declined for different reasons.
Yeah, the issue of appointing people by accident without even consulting them whether they can serve is undermining service delivery. Because you are putting someone in an office whether you find that the top management, they are supposed to report to him or he's supposed to supervise, is less informed than the people supposed. He's supposed to oversee or supervise. Meaning that now the technical people don't respect that person. And actually, I would think that even the president is people are withholding information which is vital from the president. So the president now, because of people who are lobbying and he wants to reward people, he appoints people and he deploys them without looking at what they are supposed to do. That's why we are saying that in this appointment, why can't the president work in accordance with the Constitution, Article 1174, which says that the president shall assign. You have appointed someone, you have given instrument of appointment. But there is no assignment. Assignment means that you must call that person and say, I have appointed you as the Minister of Opondo, as the Minister of Education, or as the Minister in charge of roads. I want you in this period to have so many kilometers of tarmac, because I have given you the budget. But here you find a minister who is, you ask one of some ministers, say, but do you interact with the president? Say, no, even the appointment letter is sent to me. I don't even see him. So some of these ministers are working under fear. They say, if I ask the president will sack me. He will think I don't know what to do. So there must be some kind of transparency.
So it is foolhardy to expect a lot.
Definitely, you cannot expect a lot from these ministers who are supposed to be assigned, but they are not assigned. And you cannot gauge their performance. Neither the president can gauge their performance. Maybe if they have undisclosed objectives, why they are appointed.
Thank you. Honorable Caps, as we take a break, while the president seems to have played his wild card and brought a surprise cabinet to us, there is a sense that he has further entrenched.
This is a Muvumba cabinet. There is nothing new about it. So it's a Muvumba.
He has cut the old and the new. He has brought them into his cabinet. Do you think this in a way strengthens his grip politically?
Now, for me, what I would like to say here too, before I answer this question, there is this question, the original debate moving on the matter of rewards and sanctions for the performance or ill performance, lack of performance of a minister. If a minister doesn't perform very well, who is to be punished? And who is to give the punishment? Number one, if the minister doesn't perform very well, minister 1, 2, 3, and if there are many, it means the whole government has failed to perform very well. And in this sense, the entire government is supposed to be punished. And in this way, the people to punish are supposed to be the voters. The problem we have in Uganda is that the system of checks and balances on performance has been crippled. At the end of the day, the people have no way of giving their verdict in terms of their own assessment and judgment to the extent to which a ministry or the whole government has performed very well or less to the expectations of the people. This is supposed to be done through the vote of the voter at the end of the period of time of a regime like this one here. President Museveni's government fails to perform at the end of the day. When it comes to the time of voting where the people are supposed to give a vote of no confidence or a vote of confidence, the system is crippled using new things in the electoral system. So you need to check the whole element of democratic checks and balances to find out why this continuous way of appointing ministers with the questionable credibilities, with the questionable performance. If a minister doesn't perform well, the blame is put on that particular minister. This minister is swept off by a new appointment of another person. And yet,
has President Museveni strengthened his grip politically?
For me, what I see in this cabinet is that President Museveni is holding two strings. One, his own string, and the other one, the string of Muhoozi. He's releasing. Yeah, there is something like this. If you see this lot of people, beginning from our brother here, who was Minister of Youth, he's now Minister of Local Government. Barugahara, he's called like that? Balam. And then you come to the other people who were associated more with the my Obi Muhoozi. It's like they want that voice to grow, the voice of General Muhoozi to grow more and more into the politics. As Museveni is keeping just enough of the old people to avoid him looking isolated as the only old man in the cabinet.
Yeah, but PLU is dissatisfied with the numbers. They say.
But Museveni cannot also isolate himself completely, that he brings all young people. And then he remains the only old man in the cabinet. He must keep some people like Kamuntu Professor.
Tumukunde is back.
Tumukunde is back. Those who are fairly close age mates there. Chionga. As he leaves Moses Ali to go, he leaves Matia Kasaija and that type of people. So this cabinet has two categories of people, young and old.
Do we need to watch the young tax, or they will be swallowed by?
For me, the most important thing here is he's building a system that also destroys our democratic credentials, in the sense that the person whom he wants to be heard in the political circles is General Muhoozi, a serving soldier in uniform, running a political organization called PLU without resigning from the army, contrary to the law. We have said this several times, that if you want General Muhoozi to participate in politics, let him leave the army, let him resign and come into politics fully as a civilian, so that we can preserve the sanctity of a national army, professional and democratic, loyal to civilians.
Everything about the new cabinet, the surprises, the shockers, the upsets, and the expectations. Honorable OO, we've heard from the pressure group, PLU, very bitter about the allocation. They said they were given few slots and they are dissatisfied. What's your take?
You know, The cabinet shuffle that brought Baramu, Abe, and others. After that cabinet shuffle, we went to Kisozi. And the president publicly told us that now I have PLU members in my cabinet, and called them one by one to stand up so that we see them, we know them. Good enough, none of them has shied away, something which I thought undermines in the public eye the authority, the constitutional authority of the president. Along the way, when General had issues with the Bariomosi, you remember, he tweeted, he said, "You will not be minister again." Now, the ordinary person, that says, that means, in my view, you are the one, or you have a bigger say. And I thought, again, that statement undermines the authority of the president. Because if the public, the country people, begin to believe that the president does not have full authority, other people are boasting that they are the ones who make the presidency appointee. And you have seen since that time, the flood gates were opened and people rushed there, even people with no principle, political principle, I mean, no ideological standing. They were on that side. That led us to an avalanche in the last election, where you had people run and picked NRM cards, ticket, but they also said, we appeal to you. And you saw in the, I will call it the unconventional ousting of Anita Mon as the endorsee. The endorsee. Remember, first of all, the endorsement of Anita Mon and Tayiwa as the NRM by SEC in February was certainly irregular, because our constitution of NRM, our regulation says there will be a period for expression of interest. So there was no need for SEC to endorse them without first opening. At least they go through some formal process of expression of interest alongside others. Now you